Alright, welcome back to New Zero Land. Today I'll be creating a custom tailpiece using this. So one of the issues with using a smaller seat is that you're left with this gap behind it. So I started thinking of cool things to put there. On my old Ducati I had this metal cargo plate that I used for putting bags on for trips, and it also just looked really cool. So I thought, well, maybe I can design one for the Zero and fill that space with that. So back in episode 2, I briefly mentioned 3D scanning when I ordered the tank cover, but this time I'm going to use it to make my own motorcycle part. This is where we kind of veer outside of most people's skill sets or ease of availability of hardware store parts, but I don't know how to weld, and this is the future, so I'm going to try and 3D print something. I bought a cheap 3D scanner and then scanned the whole bike so I could sketch out an idea in the computer. I started modeling something rough, taking ideas from spaceships and the cargo cover I had on my Ducati, putting in little loops on the sides for bag straps. And then I found out that one of my coworkers has a huge 3D printer, and so I gave him the model to do a test print. So here it is, in real life, the 3D print of my design. It actually turned out really well. I'm surprised, like most of my 3D prints turn into spaghetti, and so yeah, this is pretty amazing. So this would go about here. Kind of look like that. Yeah. So cool. So cool. Yeah. And just for this test piece, I had my coworker print it with as little infill as possible, so the interior structure isn't very strong. So like if you hold it up to the light, you can kind of see. So yeah, there's like the internal crisscrossing structure, which gives all the 3D prints their strength. There's barely any in this, but still, it's like I can't really bend it at all. It's actually really strong for how thin it is and how little infill there is. So yeah, I need to figure out a way to mount it. I want it to kind of float above the stock Zero tailpiece. So I'll figure out some way to do that. So I'm thinking I can use these two mounting points that are here. I think they just hold this plastic onto the metal bits, but there's bolts I can use and everything. So I can just have like a mount here and then put the actual 3D printed piece on top of that or something, and then yeah, it's gonna be cool. Well, 3D printing takes too long, so I just busted out the cardboard and made my own mount, just as a test, you know, the first prototype. So this is kind of the idea of how the piece will sit, and eventually I'll model the mount into the piece so that it can all be 3D printed together. And then I 3D scanned everything again with the cardboard included so I could model it with the right dimensions. Alright, prototype number 2 in black, because black is cooler. This one's a lot thicker, like the walls and stuff are a lot thicker, and it's got this, the base is modeled into it. And I just drilled a hole for the mounting point. It's kind of a mess at the moment, but it's still a prototype, not the final. So I'm just experimenting and seeing what works. But I remodeled the air intake part so that it's more angular. And then the bag strap loop hole things are wider so that they actually fit with the bag straps. Yeah, I'm gonna see how it looks on the bike. Alright, so here's the second prototype mounted. The base, like I just used 2 L brackets and then had them connected on the sides of this base part, which I'll need to widen that, like when I remodel it, or tweak the model a bit for the final print. So then I just used some rubber washers just to make it fit, and yeah, I think it works really well. It floats kind of on the sides, which looks pretty cool. And when the seat is on, these lines totally line up with this little air intake thing, which is purely just for looks. Just my own style or whatever. And then these lines match up with this, which kind of come together and then match up with the original lines on the Zero tail. So pretty cool. I need to get rid of this GoPro mount. But aside from that, I think it works, and so just a few more tweaks on the model and it'll be ready for the final print. And although nowadays you can 3D print in carbon fiber, I think even for the final prints I'll use plastic because it's impressively strong, and For the bags I'm just using the little 5-liter Kriega bags that just line up with the straps that I designed, or the strap holes. I really don't need anything stronger than plastic, and just as long as the mounts are strong enough, then it should be fine. So that's kind of the idea, to just loop into the holes on the 3D printed thing, these loops, and then just these little bags. I haven't really decided how to strap them, maybe strap them together underneath or something, and then I can put like charging adapters inside or something, just for, you know, little trips, and then I have another bag that goes on the other side, so it'll kind of look like that. Yeah. A few more tweaks to the model in a few places, and I gave it back to my coworker to do a final print with even more infill, so it's the strongest so far. So here's the old one and the new one. So cool. So smooth. I'm really impressed with these prints. This looks amazing. And so the base is a lot wider than before. So as you can see, I won't have to use nearly as many rubber washers on the new one. It should fit actually really well. So let's get those L brackets transferred onto this and see what it looks like on the bike. I still need to clean the piece up and sand it and add filler primer and decide what color I want to paint it. But I'm really excited to see it on the bike. And it helps to integrate the Triumph seat into the Zero. It really just ties everything together. Alright, custom tailpiece / cargo plate for the Zero. It's mostly just aesthetics, just so it looks cool and so the lines of the Triumph seat kind of flow into the Zero tail. But it's also practical, you know, I can strap a bag to it and go on trips, you know, once I get the chargers in. So I want to use this 3D printing method to design my own charger cover. But first I need to get the chargers, so I'm off to California to pick them up from DigiNow. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.